professional level. This is why.
Guys, so one of the big stories from this past week in the playoffs was, the insinuation that Devin Williams was tipping his pitches that allowed Pete Alonso to hit a go-ahead home run at the end of the game. And, from watching the video, I think it was pretty obvious that it looked like, the Mets definitely had something on him. They said that one of the coaches telling Pete Alonso, hey, pre-at-bat, hey, if it's this, you're going to get this as a changeup. And then, he hits the home run on a 3-1 count. You could tell he was pretty much sitting changeup. That's not proof that they had something, but with all the context around it, it's pretty obvious. I mean, you didn't see him kind of be early and then make an adjustment. I mean, he was sitting changeup. And then also when he gets back into the dugout, that same coach is kind of coming up, dapping him up. Obviously they had something. And so I thought, this would be a great time to talk to you guys about really what are the most common ways pitchers tip pitches. And this is to help both you hitters out there and you pitchers out there, because pitchers, this is a great way to guard against the possibility of a team figuring out how you're tipping the baseball or tipping your pitches. And hitters, this is stuff you can look for every day or every game when you're facing a guy. And so I wanted to go over the most common ways. I got my glove right here and a ball in it. And we're going to go over this. So it's going to be a little bit of a long video, but I hope you guys get a lot of value out of this. So number one we're going to talk about is the glove tips. And so obviously from the name, this is going to be, ones you can pick up from the glove. And again, guys, I had some conversations on Twitter the other day, or on X, sorry, that basically was talking about how there's no way people can pick these up from the dugout or the hitters can see this stuff. I would say 90% of the time it's going to be picked up from a coach and it's going to be relayed through a verbal cue, meaning, fastball, maybe they say your number if it's a fastball, or they say your last name if it's an off speed. So, hey, let's go 8. If your number is 8, hey, whatever that cue is, if the number is fastball's coming. If your name's off speed, all right, hey, hold on, runner now. Hey, here we come, runner, here we come. That means off speed's coming. That's typically how these are going to be relayed. It's going to be relayed from the dugout to the hitter. So that's what you're looking for, is things that can be picked out from the dugout. So number one with the glove, first things first, guys, if you're a pitcher, and this is what you see a lot of really good pitching coaches move all of their pitchers away from gloves that have openings here or have, the little finger hole. Do not put your finger out like this. Do not. This is one of the most obvious tips for most guys. You see this when they're throwing a fastball, they point their finger. They do something like this. So at some point, they get their sign, they come set, and they go like this, or they're in the windup even, and you see this thing pointing up like this, straight in. Usually you can see it from the sign to the dugout. Very easy to pick up. So what I would do if I'm a pitcher, I'm trying to eliminate as many things that are going to happen. Because most of you guys, you don't realize you're doing this stuff. It's subconscious. When you put the ball in your glove and you flare on the off speed or the changeup, you don't really know you're doing that. It's just something that you've done so long, you don't even feel it. So number one would be kind of the finger point. Finger point, you want to avoid going on the finger point, because this is one that's going to be so easy to see from the dugout. So we'll go one finger pointer. Now, the next one, and this is another very common one, obvious one, is most guys, when they put the ball in the glove, and watch the shape of this glove, okay? When they put the ball in the glove and it's a fastball, they're squeezing. See how skinny the shape of this glove is? It's skinny. When guys are gripping a changeup or even the slider, curveball, especially a changeup, because you think about a changeup grip with a certain, your fingers are spread wide on the ball. A lot of times it's going to be much more flared. So it may not look like this, but instead of this, it's this, or it's this. So you guys, again, you're seeing right there, it's a small difference, but from the angle that this usually happens, like if he's facing a dugout like this, dugout's here, and it's tight, and then it's flared, you can see it. So we're talking about, all right, the glove flare. So that'll be the next one, glove flare. And I'm writing this down so you guys can write this down as well and kind of go over these things and start come up with a list and figure in a game. Maybe you're not playing or you're not up for a while. Start watching the pitcher for this stuff. Next one with the glove is glove angle. So you may have guys that are like here, and then they may change their angle here. They may change their angle this way, maybe more further up. That's another thing. Like this is the Craig Kimbrell tipping situation back with Boston, a few years ago, where his fastball, I can't remember which one was which, but he was more straight like this with his one pitch, and the other pitch was like this. So they had every pitch because when he threw a slider, it was like this. When he threw a fastball like this, that's a tip you don't even have to relay. And so glove angle is another one. And again, guys, there's so many of these things that I'm not even going to be able to list all of them. And let me get this marker over here. And we're not even going to be able to talk about all of them because there's just so many different ones. So again, another one with the glove is the flapping. Now, this is something that when I was in the Brewers organization and Devin Williams was young, he was right before he got hurt with his arm. I faced him in a live BP, and he's throwing his fastball. His glove's not doing anything. It's pretty obvious. Or he wasn't tipping anything on his fastball. And then he gets to his changeup. He gets his balls in the glove, and he starts going like this. Right? He's flapping so much in his glove. And I told him after that, I said, hey, man, you're flapping a lot on your changeup. And I told some people on X, I said, listen, that was 8 years ago. And I don't think he's doing that anymore, but he's definitely doing something. And this is something that a pitching coach and the player themselves has to be on top of at all times because it can just come up out of nowhere without anyone expecting it. But that glove flap, I messed it up there. The glove flap is a very common one as well. And again, these are things. So this is what you do when you see a guy throwing. And maybe on the fastball, he's glove flapping. Well, the next pitch he throws a slider or changeup and he didn't do it at all. All right, now we're in confirmation mode, meaning just because you see it once doesn't mean it's a pattern yet. But as soon as you watch 2 or 3 more pitches, you're ready to start relaying that to your hitter. The thing is, when I was doing this at Georgia Tech, and Danny Hall kind of let me do this after he kind of realized I was really good at it. Was, you never do it when you first find something. It may take you an inning, especially on a starting pitcher, it may take you an inning to really confirm it because you don't want to start relaying right away, and it may not be a thing. It may just be he did that for some reason on that one pitch. So I always tried to get, if I could call 7 or 8 in a row, then I was ready to go. And every hitter knew, hey, if I'm relaying, I'm probably not going to be 100%, but I'm going to be above 90%. And as long as you're okay with that, I don't want to hear you complain if I mess one up and you don't look good because we're trying to take advantage of something here. And so those are really there's more, again, guys, there's more glove specific tips. And I guess I can go over a few more. Here's the deal. Look, if you're a guy, and if you're a guy that all right, what grip am I holding right here? Any baseball guys can see it. Baseball is a little dirty, whatever. It's a 4-seam fastball. So if I come set and you don't see me playing in my glove at all, unless I'm really, discreet about it, so you're probably holding 4-seam still. Now all of a sudden, if you're holding the 4-seam grip like this, and you come set and you're spinning this ball around like this, and it's obvious that you're changing grip. That's something to look for. Okay, every time he plays, is it not the fastball? Every time he plays, is it a slider? Is it a changeup? And if he doesn't play, is it a fastball every time? That's really easy to confirm. So looking for, glove play or glove, we'll call it glove play, but you guys will understand that's, he's changing the grip around in his glove. And I'll tell you, the best pitching coaches with this, they have guys all kind of do the same thing where, they try to make the glove as, you can't peek into it from second base. That's the other thing, guys. If you're a pitcher out there, please do not have your glove face second base. Because this is just, you're going to have guys, especially in college baseball, high school, you probably get away with it. In college baseball, you're going to have teams relaying your pitches from second base all day long. If you're opening up the glove like this or like this, I mean, this is really, you want to be like somewhere like this, or just anywhere where they can't peek in your glove. I would do it if a guy was angled, almost straight to second. I wouldn't even get my lead until he came set. I would just sit there, kind of acting like I'm not paying attention, and as soon as I get my lead, I could see his grip, and that's one. I can relay that to the hitter if we have a system in place, which pretty much every college team does. But number two, if I'm trying to steal bases and I see him gripping a changeup, he ain't picking off to second with a changeup grip. No one's picking off holding the ball like this to second base. So now I know I can kind of get that one-way lead. He's going to be slower to the plate because it's off speed and stuff like that. All right, so I want to move on to the next kind of tips, and that's going to be kind of your set-based tips. We'll put a little mark here. So obviously these are going to be you really can't identify these in the windup. Some of these you can, so you're going to have to get a guy on base. I'll tell you the most famous, the best one I ever saw, Dan Jaffe, when he was assistant coach at Georgia Tech, and I was there as well. He's now at Arizona State. Shout out to Dan Jaffe. Emerson Hancock, UGA starting pitcher, Friday night guy, ended up going super high in the draft. Unbelievable talent. Well, Jaffe sends me a text late one night. We're doing scouting. We're watching video. We're watching video for this stuff. And he goes, I think I'm seeing something. I need you to confirm. Every time he comes set, so if you can't see my feet, but watch my lower half. Comes set once, twice. He was throwing a fastball every time. Comes set 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Off speed every time. Well, after watching about 40 pitches straight in the stretch, it was 100%. So we didn't have to relay that because Emerson Hancock was you just had to watch his feet when he was coming set. 2 times fastball, 3 times off speed. And so the problem was, and this is what we said after the game because we ended up losing, the problem was getting him in the stretch. I mean, the guy had elite command, elite stuff. It was like he wasn't walking guys. You had to earn your way on base. So even though we had that amazing tip, we really couldn't take advantage of it that often because he was so good. We couldn't get him in the stretch. So, one, watching the feet. How many times do they come set? Are they coming set at different angles? Is the foot angle a little bit different on off speed? But really, that's what you're looking for is the guys that come set multiple times like this. And we all know who the guys that do that. That usually can be a conveyor of information. So that's something to watch right away. And that's something that would be one of the first things when I was doing video and scouting, trying to pick this stuff up. Was all right. Watch his feet. Does he come set multiple times? Okay, let's do something. I mean, this is video studying that takes hours, especially for a starting pitcher, and then you go into the bullpen. But for a starting pitcher, I mean, you're going through all these checklisting, and some of these you can't even see on video. Like at the college level, you don't have really a close up of the guy's glove, so the finger pointer, that's something you got to confirm in game. Even the glove angles you can see on video, but that's a lot of this you have to confirm in the game because you have to have a better view a lot of times from the dugout than you do on video and stuff like that. Okay, so set tips. Next one would be set height. And this is a very common one that's known by a lot of people. But, a lot of guys, take their belt. Always use the belt or kind of the letters as a kind of a guiding line. And guys, there's guys that'll come set here, right on their letters on a certain pitch, and then they'll come set, maybe a little bit higher on an off speed or a fastball, and same vice versa. They may come set at the belt, and then they come set a little higher on off speed or a fastball. So set height, that's another one that you can pick up. And again, sometimes guys, when I was doing this at Georgia Tech, a lot of the players were, I would tell them what I was seeing because they're like, how are you picking this stuff up? And they would try their hardest. They couldn't see it. It's something that has to be developed. You have to really know where to look. So, I'm giving you all this information, but again, don't expect you right away to start picking up this stuff because this is something, over years of my playing career and coaching that I developed this skill for. And I played for a lot of guys that, knew how to pick this stuff up, taught me what to look at, and everything like that. So going on to the next one with the set is, the amount of the movement in the set. So you have guys that, and we'll write this one down, set movement. And again, these are ones that, a guy comes set and he's going like this, He may do that, a lot of movement in one. He may come set and just kind of, bear. And again, it's like it's the extreme movement. In one of them, he may be like this, like this. And then in the next one, he may move still, but it's very controlled. And so, again, you're looking at, okay, is he moving in an extreme way versus a non-extreme way? Is a glove flap going on? And some of it, when he comes set sometimes, is it not going on? That's one of the more common ones. Is you'll see guys with guys that have movement in their set. That is something that you'll see. So the next one that I want to go over, especially when coming set, is head. Watching his head, watching his hat. So there are a lot of guys, and you wouldn't believe this, but there are a lot of guys who come set, and depending on when they come set, what they're looking at, that's what they're doing. So you're talking about a guy he's coming set looking down at the ground, and then looks up, off speed. Guy comes set and just looking at the glove, could be fastball. I mean, you'll watch some. I promise you guys, you'll watch this, and that's a really good tip a lot of times for pickoffs too. A lot of times, guys will come set looking at the glove because they're thinking about what they're doing. Especially if it's a pre-called pickoff, they come set. They never break eyes with the catcher because they're thinking about, okay, I'm going to pick off soon. Instead of every time else, they're thinking about their pitch, trying to locate. So that can also be a tip for base running. If you're on first base and you see a guy come set and he never takes his eyes off the catcher, there's a good chance he's picking off. But again, the hat can be, and again, you have guys who go like this a lot, like this a lot. A lot of times they'll almost always go home when they come up like this. They're never going home like this. So they go like this. And so if you're trying to get a base, again, these tips work, guys, for stealing bases too. That's the other thing, is you have a guy that all of a sudden he's on the way up, and you time it, you get a great jump, you can get up there. Okay, so these are probably two of the most common types of tips, guys, that I wanted to go over. Obviously, we can talk about a bunch of other stuff, whether it's nowadays in college baseball, what I hate is all the catchers are using the voice stuff now. Back in the day, 10, 12 years ago when I was playing in college, I mean, it was so easy to pick up signs from the catcher. So easy. And that used to be something I taught guys all the time. Now it's kind of a worthless skill because they don't even give signs unless the radio goes out or whatever. But tell me what you think about this, guys. I may do another version of this and just add in some more, but I think these really are the most common things that you should be looking for. If you're trying to pick up information on a pitcher, let me know what you think, and we'll have another video coming out tomorrow. Thanks, guys.